Hi, everyone, and welcome. It's been a while since I've done a live stream, and I'm excited to be here today. Um, so, I wanted to actually give some time for people to ask questions today and kind of do like an open forum of an open Q&A session. But of course, until people hop on, I just wanted to also offer some um, thoughts and some teachings that I want to share with you guys today. So, I titled this live stream This is the most attractive thing you can do. And so, we're going to talk about, this most attractive thing that you can do. Here's Dookie coming up to hang out. um, so, I've had this quote next to my bed for a long time. It's like on this little card. You guys have probably seen these. They're at like boutique gift shops and stuff. But this quote has been by my bedside for a long time, and yet it just kind of hit me the other day of just how truly impactful it is, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Sorry, my bangs are like a little bit crazy today. Okay, so this quote is, "The kindest thing you can do for yourself is to be the person you would most like to spend the rest of your life with." And that's by Heather O'Hara. So I wanted to share that quote and also just talk about, when it comes to love and relationship, whether we are inside of a loving relationship or not yet in that relationship. Dookie, no. You gotta get off. Okay. What I've learned from being inside a relationship and this most current one that I'm in is that journey of becoming the version of ourselves that we want to be does not stop just because we have manifested or we have been given. Dude, come on, get off. Just because we've been given the gifts that the divine wants us to have, there's still work for us to do. Hi, Sophia. Good to see you. Happy you're here. There's still work every single day in becoming the version of ourselves that we want to be. So if you're here live and if you're here live and you want to ask questions, this is technically just a group Q&A session that I'm offering, and it's free for the public and anyone can ask questions. So I want you to not be shy to ask or make comments and ask questions, because really I want this time to be dedicated for you. And then I'm also going to read off some other topics that we can go into, but I would love for you guys to first guide it and ask me what you would love to go into. But I've just been thinking a lot about that topic because, I'm at a place in my life where I actually heard a really good word for it. It's like once we've been given a gift, once we've been given a divine gift, our job is to steward that. Our job is to steward it, to take care of it, to apply ourselves, to give all of ourselves to that gift. And in my experience, there's definitely, the moments where we've manifested something or been given these beautiful gifts. Those happen in a moment. It's not like it's happening in every single second of every single day. We're building, we're working toward sometimes things just come in randomly and we don't know it, but most of the time we set an intention, we cast a desire, we cast an intention, we get clear about what it is that we would want, and then we start to slowly build toward that thing, and then the moment that it comes in, but that's just a moment, and now it's here. And I think that there's kind of just like when you receive a gift, it's like you can be high off of receiving that gift for a certain amount of time. Maybe it's a day if you're a kid, or a week or two if you're a kid, or maybe longer if it's really, really, really special. But, as an adult, often we can be given something so beautiful. And then whether it's a relationship or a new job or a new house or, new friendship. And for a while, we feel high off of that new thing that's in our life. And it's easy to feel gratitude. It's easy to feel connected to the divine because it's so new. And it's like, wow, like this is this proof that, you know, I'm so supported and so guided in my life. And, here's this beautiful thing. And it's just like it's alive. But then Shannon Port actually talks about like the pleasure and pain cycle. Sometimes we can also struggle then with, now that we've attracted this thing, or not attracted it, been given it, asked for it, been provided it, whatever it is, however it comes into our life. Now that we've been given that, then we can fear that it's going to go away. And that's the pleasure and pain cycle. And I definitely noticed myself with the things that have come into my life in the last year that are so incredibly amazing. I'll notice myself have moments where I I'm in the like recognition of, wow, this is so incredible. And then sometimes that wears off a little bit and I'm just kind of like not feeling the gratitude anymore, or um not in as much appreciation of just everything. Or I'm in a cycle of fear and what if I lose this? So I just wanted to bring that up because what we can do is, once again, going back to the quote I shared at the beginning, I'll read it off again, is come back to the focus of who is it that I want to be, and not lose track of the fact that even if you're in a relationship, even if you're married, even if you have your dream job, your dream house, you've manifested all these dreams, we are still becoming every single day and choosing to be the person that we are here to be. And not to put us on a hamster wheel of never getting there, but it's more of like, who is it that I want to be, and am I being that person? Something that I've done a lot with clients and people in my greater mentorship programs, like the deep small group ones, where we meet for a series of months and we go into those, is work a lot with the divine feminine frequencies. So something I'll do periodically is I'll write out the frequencies or the words that I want to embody, that I want to step into. And maybe they're words that I feel like are not as strong in myself. And I'll put those words up somewhere where I can see them every single day. And it's amazing because even by just writing those down and looking at them every day, over time, they begin to come alive within us. But it's just something that I want to offer, is just the reminder that, being that person, like when I read this quote, so the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to be the person you would most like to spend the rest of your life with. When I read that quote, it makes me think, and it makes me think like, who is it that I want to spend the rest of my life with myself? Who what does she stand for? How does she be? What does she think? How does she exist? Another thing I want to bring up in the beginning of this talk, and again, this is a Q&A space, so if you guys have any questions, please feel free to share. I feel like bangs just don't work with live streams, so I apologize because I feel like my hair looks not great right now, but that's okay. So what are some questions or comments that you guys may have? If you are here live, this is space for you. I have been, if you haven't noticed, I have stepped a ways back from Elevated Woman because I actually kind of got tired of honestly being my own boss for a little while. And I had an incredible opportunity come up that was truly God's design and gift, where I've been able to work for a company in the city that I live in. And it's just provided a lot of ease where I haven't had to be in the driver's seat, in the control seat, making things happen, holding everything together. Um, but it's actually, haven't talked about this because it's been such an incredible manifestation and gift from the divine that I've had to hold it really tight and contained because there's, in manifestation, and I learned this originally from Shannon Port, but when we expose that which we are wanting to create, and that which is wanting to be birthed too early, it's like pulling the leaves of a flower apart before it's bloomed. It is extracting a seed out of the earth before it has taken root and before it's built the strength to handle the external world. So that's very much when we're working on manifesting something, keeping it quiet, keeping it silent, keeping it in the dark, keeping it out of the light, out of the eyes, the sight of others is all very, very important and powerful. I've also done that a lot with my relationship. I really haven't shared much of it on social media, and I still continue not to, just because I learned the hard way. And it's a funny thing because it almost seems like anytime I do post or share and expose, these sacred things in my life, I almost have to brace because the divine doesn't want me to do that often. And it's been a thing I've learned, but just looking at like social media, and the way that we are constantly exposing ourselves and constantly exposing our lives is actually working against the manifestation process, and it disrupts. Good morning. Hi, Claire. Good to see you. I've been noticing lately in my relationship, is my relationship with authenticity in workplaces. I always come to this place where I have no respect for bosses in my life. Is there a feminine energy perspective? Yeah, I can definitely talk about that. I love that. So I'll finish this point. So I always do that. I get distracted. Yeah, and so I've been thinking a lot about how like the current design of social media and our culture, it really opposes and works against the actual sacred process of becoming. Um, One second. And so if you that's kind of just some food for thought and something that I've had to work with for a long time and figure out and learn the hard way that yeah, it's not really worth the temporary it's really not worth the temporary gain of um whatever social dopamine hit that we get from sharing our lives. It's not that it's bad, but we need to be aware of the effect that it actually has on our spirit, our psyche. Having a lot of eyes on our lives is not always a great thing, which is, again, another reason why I've kind of stepped back with social media and just even my business. Is not that I don't want to connect with you guys individually, but I've had to navigate how can I be in spiritual integrity inside of this business, inside of the coaching world, inside of an online platform, because there's a lot of things that easily pull me out of spiritual alignment. And I can't afford to get out of spiritual alignment. My life is my intention is to keep it so refined and pure that I just can't really do it. So anyway, let's go into some of these questions. One thing I wanted to say that celebrate. So this is a cool little fact. But human design, I've studied a lot of human design, and one thing I've learned is that there are 4 stages of rest. Stage 1 is, I believe, and I learned this from Karen Curry Parker. Stage 1 is just simply recovery. So that's sleeping, doing something mind numbing, like watching a show, or even scrolling, playing a game online or shopping online, like where your mind just kind of numbs out. That's the first kind of rest, being horizontal, doing nothing. We need that first. Then there's the next stage, which is uh, I want to say it's called like restoration or something like that. And that's coming back to yourself. So anything that brings you back to yourself, from such as like a therapy session to going for a run, going to the gym, going to yoga, doing a meditation. Um, let's see, what else? Doing some self-care. It takes action, but it's action that is bringing you closer to yourself. It's helping you restore yourself. So that's the second type of rest. And we need the first type in order to be able to do the second type of rest. And then we need the second type of rest to be able to do the third type of rest. So the third type is, um, promise there's a reason I'm talking about this. The third type is um, play, which I thought was really interesting. So, maybe getting wine with a girlfriend on a Friday night, or literally having a game night, going to a barbecue, things that other people, going dancing, where other people are around. And um, and then the fourth type of rest is actually celebration. And I think that that is so interesting. And when I learned that, I was like, this makes total sense, because restoration is, or sorry, celebration, it completes the cycle. And when we don't celebrate something that we have worked toward, or a week of work that we've just accomplished, something hard, a long project, it feels incomplete, and we don't actually have the energy to begin again, because we haven't given ourselves that absolute reward of, I acknowledged everything that I have done. And so I thought that that was, I've been working with that for a long time in my life, and actually actively practice celebration, that fourth type of rest, consistently in my life. Anytime I talk to my girlfriends, we'll celebrate, or I talk to my mentor. I will often start off the call in celebration, talking about what's working well. I also do that with clients that I work with one-on-one. Is we'll talk about, what are you celebrating? What is something that was not here in your mind and body, heart, spirit, that is now here? And we actually celebrate that, and it helps to anchor it in. So I'm celebrating that, this amazing work opportunity. And Sophia is saying, I totally get the freedom in not being the boss all the time. But so you guys, I know a lot of you sometimes feel like out of alignment with work, and how do we thrive as women? And I'm I experienced, um so I also think that I've shared, most of you here probably taken my training requirements. And requirements is about knowing your requirements, not your standards, but knowing your requirements. And the difference is, what I know works for me, period, and it's not personal to anyone else, versus standards are like, I expect this, this, and that of you. It's about the other person, and it's actually less accountable. It's less personally responsible. Um, Whereas requirements are entirely self-awareness being shared with the outer world. And so the job that that this was work opportunity that I have, it was such an incredible, ex- uh, it's still even hard to talk about, because it feels so divinely designed. It's like only God could really bring it in. Um, so the person that I work for, I basically, what he allowed me to do is literally design my exact role, exactly how I work, when I work, from when like, we had a conversation yesterday, and I was invited to do this thing in kind of like a chamber opportunity, like a business chamber, community chamber. And he was like, I was like, should I do this or not? And he was like, do you know what it requires? Do you know that it involves like a point system, and, having to show up to things at a certain amount of or certain time frame? And I'm like, I've heard. And he was like, it is just from what I know about you, it's the opposite of you. And it's so incredible to have a boss who knows the importance of staying in your lane. And he never wants me to step outside of what is in alignment, because that would be me compromised. That would mean I don't bring good work. That would mean I'm not happy. It's not sustainable. Um, but I'm just sharing this with you guys because it feels like, I don't want to say it's a rare opportunity, because I want us to normalize this. Our community gets to normalize this, but that I guess I'm sharing it because I'm bringing in, like, it is possible, and I didn't even know it was possible. The reason I haven't worked for anyone else is because I require designing my own schedule. I require being able to listen to my emotions, body, intuition, energy levels, and take care of myself accordingly. I require a certain, environment to work in. Otherwise, I can't work. He actually calls me the canary in the coal mine, because he's like, your superpower is being so sensitive. Um, and hi, Leslie. Aw, so happy that you're here. So, aw, thank you. So I'm sharing this because I want to open you guys up, because when I work with people one on one, often what happens is something's out of alignment in life. It's like, okay, well, I don't have enough money. And yet there's a block to changing that in our lives, because we don't believe it's possible to, let's say, bring more money in, to have more money in a way that's aligned, because we are limiting ourselves in how in what's possible. We're saying, well, I really don't want to get a 9 to 5 job. Um, or even take relationships, for example. You may want a relationship, but you may have all these beliefs about men, and you're staying inside of a box that does not work for you. What we actually want to do is get rid of those boxes entirely, realize that life is like a blank sheet of canvas over and over and over again. And our job is to get to know ourselves so deeply that we can literally paint exactly what we would want, and God helps to bring that to us. So, we won't be able to do that if we're staying trapped. And it's so funny, because I'm still constantly fighting against the old traps that I used to be in. Even, this week I had a lot of that pain cycle, the fear cycle come up of like, oh, well, what if this opportunity goes away, and blah, blah. And I was just so in my head with intrusive thoughts and all these things. More because I was still fighting to believe that it's acceptable for me to work in the working conditions that I can consent to. Um, and yet, I had a meeting with my employer again, and it was just that affirmation and confirmation that he doesn't want me to do anything other than what works for me. And so, just again, a learning experience that, like, what we exactly want is out there, but if we aren't, and it is possible, but if we are putting a trap and a limitation on ourselves, then we're blocking the creative power. Like, we're blocking God from doing his work. We are saying you're less powerful than you are. Actually, I don't believe, everyone else around me has this kind of life. And so I don't see any evidence that anything other than that is possible. And yet I hope my story a little bit has just been, to help you guys remember. I could go into more details about how incredibly freaking aligned this work is, but it's more um I just wanted to share it, because for me it was such an incredible experience of, wow, we really can paint a picture of what we would desire and be given something that's even better and even greater. But what will hurt us is if we keep thinking that we're gonna, have to manifest from inside of a reality that does not work. That's the biggest thing I've been working on with my clients, is helping them see where they're staying trapped in a reality that's utterly out of alignment for them. And then the moment we get out of that misaligned reality and into the infinite potential, the reality of like, okay, well, if you could have anything, what would it be? They start to have the feelings of peace come up in their body, ease, relaxation, confidence, happiness. The depression goes away, the anxiety goes away, because you are you're finally asking for what you really want, not what you think is possible, but actually asking for what you really want. Okay, so Claire said, I am noticing my relationship with authority figures in my workplace. I always come to this place where I have no respect for my bosses in my life. Is there a feminine energy perspective? Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. Let me think about that. And then Sophia asked, do you think that one could be ready for a giving, providing man before you've learned to provide abundantly for yourself? Absolutely. Yes. That has the, yeah. Okay. So let me go with Claire's first. So also wanted to say, if you guys aren't in the mentorship, that I have a Elevated Women Global Members Mentorship. I know it's a long title. And a lot of the women that are here right now are in that. And we meet once a month. And it's similar to this, but just in a closed space. And we just do Q&A. I teach a little bit. But it's a way to build community. And my hope, I'm not going to commit to it outright yet, but I really do want to be more consistent with you guys and be in more conversations and just build out our community even more through consistent meeting up. So I'll probably do some more like live Q&A sessions as well, just to have more time with you all. But if you want to join the mentorship program, the prices are right now $27 a month, and I will put a link in the comments at some point. Or you can email me. Just email me and then I'll give you a link. So it's info@elevatedwomantraining.com. So anyway, can you explain more, Claire? I think I actually do need a little bit more information on the topic. One thing I will say is that I have been really learning to trust anytime my body is getting uncomfortable. Sometimes I'm picking up some sort of dysfunction and misalignment, either inside of myself or outside of myself. And I'll give you guys a hint. I'm actually doing another training this week. It's to finish up a training that I started a while ago, and then some of the recordings got messed up, but it's called Moon Days, and it's about tracking the cycles of your moon cycle and really working with every single week of your moon cycle. And we'll give you guys a hint that the week before you start your moon, the classic PMS week, is the most potent time to explore what's out of alignment in your life. What is spiritually, energetically, and physically not working for you will be amplified and heightened during that week. And we often resist that week and don't like that week. But what I've learned to do for the last 2 years is become very aware of what's coming up for me that week. What is happening in my mind? What am I upset about? What am I crying about? In those tears before my moon starts. Because whatever it is that I'm upset about is actually what my body is trying to cleanse out of my life. Something is not working. Something is not in alignment. And instead of fighting that time, I get behind it and I listen to my body very, very clearly. So sometimes Claire, there might be a situation where there's dysfunction, there's old kind of orders and systems that just don't work. And that can be really frustrating. And if you're a sensitive, aligned human being, and I'm not even going to say woman, but especially women, because we're absorbing so much energy. But if you're simply an aligned human being, dysfunction, chaos, and disorder, and like things that are not in alignment feel very abrasive in our energy field. And I get irritable toward them. I get caught. I get like, there's something that catches me, especially if it's someone that's close to me or I'm deeply involved in a situation. The misalignment in the external outside of me will catch me. And I've also learned that I shouldn't become codependent with it, but I can, actually take that undigestible situation, spend a little bit of time tuning in and digesting it. And often what happens is I'll come up with something that I can see what's not working in that situation. I can see what's out of alignment. And then gently, carefully, with discernment, sometimes be the person that helps to bring alignment just by offering awareness and insight, or creating a suggestion. Or, I find that as a projector, my best way is like, if I'm asked for the invitation, say like, may I share this information, but offer the insight and say, it may be this, like, and just help them see what's unseen. So it doesn't matter if you're a projector or not, but I would just mostly, like, instead of demonizing yourself and thinking something's wrong with you, or that you're the one with the problem, I get more behind and say, my body is uncomfortable right now. And so what I need to do is trust that there's a message here, and ask my body what it's trying to communicate. Does that make sense, Claire? Um, and yeah, so another thing is just sometimes when you're in controlled, if I am controlled, this is another reason I have not had a boss other than the current one that I have, because that's like, but the only bosses in my life have been my dad and the current one right now. um, because I don't work very well under being controlled. And that is a feminine energy thing. I've talked a lot about how the goddess rebels against control. So if you're feeling like that oppression and control, or like you're being told what to do, for a lot of us as women, that is undigestible. It just depends on who you're consenting to and who you're, taking those orders from. If you So I don't know how to explain it more. But it is definitely spiritual, esoteric and symbolic, and has a lot to do with polarity and the divine feminine wisdom. But I guess to simply put it, and I'm going to go into Sophia's question, is one second. I would say just simply this: a proactive approach is to, if you notice that discomfort coming up, listen to it and ask yourself, what would be in alignment in this situation? What do I need to feel good? Get really clear about what it is, and you'll know when you've struck the alignment, when your body feels peace and your mind gets clear. And your mind gets calm, because you've just found there's chaos, because you're trying to your system is wanting you to actually get to some place that it is not currently at. So we need to actively get to that place. Listen to your body, spend some time at that drawing board, with that blank canvas, and put a couple of paint colors on and see if it fits. And maybe it doesn't fit, you can start over, get a new canvas, put a new picture up. But the point is alignment is actually available. It may not, we just really do need to spend some time to actually ask ourselves what would feel good. And again, the marker for alignment is a feeling of peace and calm in your body. And also, I notice it feels like your brain will feel clear. It'll just feel you'll think clearly, because you have arrived. And even if it feels impossible to change the outside, the moment you know your alignment and you get behind it, and you realize that these are requirements, this is the way that you live in alignment and in integrity. There's some things outside of myself that are involved with other people where I feel slightly out of alignment. But what I do is I hold my alignment clearly. And it's almost like waiting for the world around me to kind of balance out. But my job is to hold alignment, and I can hold that clear picture even for them. And I have, it's almost like you feel it begin to kind of, you'll even watch situations come up in their life, and, they're learning the lesson, they're coming to the alignment, but your job is not to force it. It's just to hold it inside of you. Okay. So Sophia's question is, do you think that one could be ready for a giving, providing man before you have learned to provide for yourself? Absolutely. So the biggest thing is with that is if you're not feeling ready, all that's present is conditioning and programming. That's it. That's not in alignment. There's conditioning and programming that is making you have beliefs that in order to have. So just let's do it this way. Does it feel good to think, well, in order to have this dream life, I have to figure this out first? What does that feel like in your body? Does it feel freedom, expansion, or does it feel tight, condensed? So if I were working with you guys on a one-on-one level, we would go deeply into that condensed space. So let's just do that together. Take a moment, take a deep breath in. Notice wherever you feel tightness in your body and go into that place just for a minute. Notice if there's pain there and just allow yourself to breathe into the discomfort, noticing that discomfort itself is simply a sensation. It's simply a feeling. That's all. See if you can allow yourself to tolerate discomfort, to tolerate the sensation, and just take a deep breath into that. And notice if there's any emotions that come up, feelings of sadness or grief or loss, fear. And just keep going back into that tenderness. And the reason that these things get stuck in our body and we keep repeating the cycle is because this moment right here that we're all doing, where we're actually confronting the discomfort, is the hardest thing to do for us. We think it's so scary because this feeling is uncomfortable. But if you can just stay with it a little longer and remind yourself again and again that it's simply a sensation that you are feeling, that's it. It's not hurting you. Then we give wherever that original programming and experience or belief system, wherever it's being stored in the body, a chance to unravel itself and unhook itself. And if we were working one-on-one, I'd have you guys, all be sharing what is coming up for you. But I just want you to notice for now in this session, just if the sensation in your body has changed at all. Has it lessened? Has it gotten stronger? And any change is good because that means the emotion and the spiritual patterning is changing. And then if that feeling has moved to somewhere else in your body, maybe your heart or your throat or stomach, follow it there for a moment. And just take another deep breath in and let it go. And what I want you to do right now is, if you can, in the chat box, share any experience of emotion or feeling that you're having. So you could share tenderness, raw, if you have a specific feeling like sadness, grief, anger, anything that has been revealed to you, simply share that. So, in order to step into the realities that work for us that are actually in alignment, okay, Claire says anger and grief still lingering from yesterday. In order to really step into refined alignment, fear and grief, Beautiful, Sophia. Thank you. Belief. Oh, relief. Good. Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. Marie, sounds like you were able to move completely through the cycle. So not everyone was able to move completely through the cycle because we didn't spend a ton of time with it, but some of you may have been able to. And even if it's not complete, relief is a sign that it's moving. So it's really, really amazing. And that is always what ends up happening is there's peace at the end. It's amazing. Um, but what happens is we get stuck. We get stuck sensationally. Like the tightness, the pain, whatever, all those patterns are stuck in our body. And they're attached to belief systems and programming and conditioning that is inherently out of alignment with our soul. And it hurts us every single day to carry those belief systems around. And our life is just it's a perfect, perfect opportunity for us to look at where we are still consenting to things that don't work for us. So going back to Sophia's question, the belief that you would have to be, in this abundant place to be provided for by a man is a belief. That's all it is. Some people have that belief and some people don't have that belief. Your job is to figure out what belief is in alignment for you. That belief is not a true belief. It's not a true belief. And if your body is holding pain around it, it's absolutely the confirmation that that belief is not a friend to your spiritual system. It does not belong near you. And then you can think, okay, let me put up this blank canvas and start to paint a picture. What is a reality that does feel good to me? A reality where I get to relax and be so soft and so gentle, be so taken care of, and focus on nurturing and creativity and giving and art and music. Wow, like that picture feels really, really good. Now you have just stepped into reality and an energetic alignment where you are available to actually ask for what you want, what you truly want. And see how if we hadn't done that process of getting clear about what actually works for us, now we're trying to ask for something, but we're like speaking a different language. And we're asking for something that is, when it comes in, it's not actually going to work for us. We're wanting it's like, okay, I want a relationship, but I haven't actually asked for I haven't gotten behind what I really want. So when I'm asking, I'm spending all this time asking, and yet like it's just spinning the hamster wheel, not like, I don't know, it's kind of a weird metaphor, but you guys get what I'm saying. Okay, it's a good reminder that it's okay to feel tightness and you don't have to fix anything. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. And that is I think for our community, this is a totally different topic, but I've been doing a lot of work in myself recently around like working on just like realizing I have a lot of intrusive thoughts and anxiety. I definitely struggle with both intrusive thoughts and anxiety. And I've been learning to label intrusive thoughts as intrusive thoughts that are not true. Thoughts that are causing me discomfort and fear and anxiety and all these things. And they're just simply not true. So, and I got distracted in my head. But by the first step to healing them, just like the first step to healing the body image stuff that I used to struggle with, the eating disorders, my relationship with money, my relationship with men, is first noticing the resistance that we have to the thing, the resistance we have to the topic, all that charge, all that energy. Oh, I have all this anxiety. I have this resistance and charge related to anxiety. The very first step to healing the anxiety is to shift in your relationship to it. Change your relationship with the thing that there's so much charge around. Begin to bring acceptance, relief, to that thing. So I'll go into this really quickly and maybe we can meet again and do this for fun. But so intrusive thoughts are something like an unwanted thought that then causes a cascade of feelings and emotions that are not fun. And I'll share this and then we'll probably end after this. But so intrusive thought of, well, what if this relationship doesn't work out? That's the first intrusive thought. But then there's all these other intrusive thoughts, or not that, but like maybe what if I'm never in a relationship? And then there's all these other intrusive thoughts, and I call them the second arrows. You guys have probably heard that term before. But they're more intrusive thoughts, but these ones are kind of coming from like the deepest parts of you, the darkest, not good, fun. Not I want to say not good, but the parts of you that are hurting you consistently. And they really don't, like, that part of you does not belong in you. It's trying to protect you, but it's not doing a great job. It's actually causing more harm. So those second arrow thoughts are, there's something wrong with me. I'm never going to have my dream life. I'm always going to be a failure. I'm going to end up like on the streets. I'm going to end up alone. I'm going to, something really bad is going to happen to me because I just like all these horrible thoughts that cause even more pain. Oh, this is a really fun one. When you have anxiety about a relationship, but then you have anxiety about the fact that you're having anxiety. That is so common. I struggle with that. I work with clients who are working through that. So it's like we have such a story about, needing to be this perfect person and not have anxiety or be perfectly feminine and all these things that just creates a whole cascade of other second arrows that are causing pain, And so what I'll say on that is we first want to relax the fact the first arrow even happened. We can just take a deep breath and accept that, okay, I'm having, thoughts that are causing me pain right now. That's okay. That's okay. That doesn't mean that these thoughts are true. And then we can, from that place of like more calmness and peace and not judging and being so tight around the fact that there's, this anxiety coming in, then we can go to, if you have it in you, disproving all of those other thoughts that are coming in. But simply just labeling them as intrusive thoughts is really helpful because intrusive thoughts are not true. They're not true. They're invading you, but that doesn't mean that they're true. So just by, challenging them, then you have an opportunity to not let them kind of take over. Most of the time when our type of womanly sensitive body energy system goes into those like really intense emotional breakdowns where we feel absolutely flattened and horrible is because we've just let intrusive thoughts take us on a journey and into a reality that is so far from what's right for us and so far from what's aligned that we are at that point just like we are gone. Our mind has taken us on a very scary nightmare. So I don't know if you guys resonate with that, but I know, like with a lot of women that I've worked with, I know the archetype of us and our sensitivity. It's really easy for us to believe those kinds of, thoughts, but it's not true. So does anyone have any last comments or questions? I will come back and put a link to the community membership, my mentorship program. That's like, so we have people from all over the world, literally Australia, Canada, Taiwan, South Africa, Norway, all over the place, like so many different countries. And so that's why I call it the Global Mentorship Program, because we're all coming together. You guys have all found Elevated Woman somehow, and you resonate with it, and you resonate with me. And it's a place for us to get to know each other slowly but surely, and have a low enough monthly membership rate that we, can kind of stay connected and stay consistent with each other for more than just a few months, hopefully for many, many, many months and years. So, do you have any insight on how an imbalance of feminine energy can manifest as illness or disorders in the body? Hmm. I don't want to necessarily use the word an imbalance of feminine. Well, okay, yeah. So, absolutely. If you have programming that's causing you to stay in your masculine energy, okay, Karen, nice to see you. Nothing to ask, but nice to say hi. Absolutely. And I'm glad to see you live. Love to have you here too. Um, thank you, Sophia. So I'll answer this, Marie, and then we'll probably hop off. So really, really good questions. So absolutely, there were times in my life where I had so much masculine energy programming of like, my successes and my accomplishments, my value is in, like what I can do for the world and what I can prove to the world. And that was a time in my life where I had cystic acne. I had horrible PMS because there were so many things that were out of alignment. My body was just like, this is not working. And this whole week, we're going to try to communicate that with you. But it was really bad. I had I was struggling with eating disorders. My weight, I would be I was always kind of really skinny and really muscular, but then I struggled with binge eating and a lot. I mean, mostly like anxiety and depression are definitely big, big, big signs that we're living out of alignment integrity. Exhaustion. There's so many things that can show up. Absolutely. Those are more of the things I've struggled with. Other people can deal a lot more with like, PCOS or different gynecological issues are absolutely connected. Um, and I don't want to freak you guys out, but more come from perspective of like, let's really look at the spiritual side of things. Um, but yeah, so I would say that um yeah, absolutely. But beyond masculine and feminine energy, one of the ways that we get out of balance in our feminine energy is by not honoring our emotion. I've really learned that with my mentor Diana, that we have a way of not being in a good relationship with our emotion and we demonize it. We don't know how to communicate with our emotion. And so what gets lost is the deep wisdom that comes from emotion and listening to our body's insights and feelings. When we do that, when we are able to listen so deeply to our emotion, so much healing happens. So much healing happens. Magical healing happens. It doesn't even feel part of this world. Healing happens. So, but that all is a result of learning to have a better relationship with your emotion. So I hope that that's sort of two ways of answering it. Yes, it can show up, and that's due to like the masculine energy programming. Um, I also want to remind you guys that one of the biggest things that hurts us is the feeling of there's so many things to fix about myself. That's what we're getting away from inside of the space of elevated woman and moving more into I can receive support and help from the divine. I can simply ask, pray to God to help me, and that's enough to be supported, and that's enough to be healed. I don't have to trudge my way through this spiritual journey and self-work and self-improvement and, be work so hard to finally be worthy of everything that I want. That's an old programming that I used to consent to and I used to think was the only way. And the only thing that that led me to was more pain because it was more self-blame. And it doesn't mean that we don't show up. We don't do the work. I still do the deep, heavy work, but it's from a different angle. It's from the angle of I'm going to show up and do this clearing work so I can be closer to God, and I can be closer to the divine. But I don't believe that my life and all of my dreams are dependent upon this healing inside of me. I believe I'm worthy of everything that I want now, exactly as I am. And I don't have the power to mess things up. I can be imperfect. I can, you know, be less than ideal. I can have things that I'm struggling with. And that doesn't make me unlovable. I don't have to fix myself or completely, get to 100% in order to have. God's love is not conditional on us in that way, in my opinion. So when I do the inner work, it's a journey of me wanting to be closer to the divine. It's a journey of me wanting to feel like that relationship more clearly and remove anything that blocks me. Not because I think that that's my way of getting something. Does that make sense? It's more of like, I just want to feel closer. I want to feel more safe and protected and loved. And I recognize these programs and belief systems that are keeping me out of my alignment and making me be out of integrity spiritually. That's hurting me and my relationship with divine. I want those to be clear because they hurt me. They hurt me. And that's why I do them. I don't do these things. I don't heal. I don't work on my personal healing to get anywhere other than removing the blocks from the divine. Does that make sense to you guys? So going back to this quote, we'll finish with this. Yes, I see it as the emotional aspect that should come first outside of feminine masculine energy. Yeah, when you start to listen to your emotions and really build a relationship with a positive relationship of trust and insight and curiosity, and I've learned this so much with Diana, my mentor, but like how, yeah, that, okay. So, oh gee, going back to this quote, the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to be the person you would most like to spend the rest of your life with. Whether we are inside of a relationship, outside of a relationship, living our dream life, working on living our dream life, I think we could spend some time together and apart. But like just reflecting on who is it that we want to be? Are we in love with ourselves? Yeah, she's not public. She's a very inside source. I'm sorry, Claire. Yeah, she's not online or anything like that. But all right, I love you guys so much. Thank you, and I will talk to you soon.